I just don't have enough time to meet the right woman. I'm just not tall enough. I'm not good looking enough. The algorithm on Tinder, Hinge, Bumble, Match.com or Facebook dating is skewed against us men. Nowadays, there's simply no places to meet women. I just don't know where. There's no good women left. All of these are excuses that you've told yourself over the last years, perhaps over the last decades, as to why you can't find someone. And what you have to understand is you've been lying to yourself. These are all excuses. It's very easy to break a limiting belief like that by simply having one piece of evidence to the contrary. Ask yourself, how much time, if we address that concern first, do other men have available to themselves? If you sleep 8 hours a night, you have 112 waking hours available to yourself per week. How much time are you going to dedicate to work? Even if you work 60, 70, don't actually need this right now, because there's a little bit of a thunderstorm, there's a little bit of rain. It would have been very easy for us to not film this video. Oh, it's raining. You couldn't possibly film a video right now. Excuses. We said we're going to do it, so we're going to do it. If you sleep 8 hours a night, you have 112 waking hours available to yourself. Even if you sleep, it's more difficult to close an umbrella than you think. It's an undervalued, hey bro, what's going on? It's an undervalued skill set. Now, no matter how much you work, you'll still have more than enough time available to yourself to go out. Because even if you work 60, there you go, 60, 70 hours a week, which would be a significant amount, you'd still have more than enough time to go out there. Because how much time does dating really take? 5 to 10 perhaps? That's it. I mean, if you go on a date a week, even if you go on 2 dates a week, how long is a date really gonna take? 2 to 3 hours. If you have a particularly successful outcome that night, maybe 4. But let me ask you something. If you go through a whole day of business meetings, wouldn't you be excited about sharing the evening with somebody as opposed to just jerking yourself to sleep? Of course, all of a sudden you would find the time. Time is emotion. That's something you have to understand. We all have the exact same amount of time. Time is never an excuse. So that's obvious. Next one. I'm just not tall enough. Are there short men who are in relationships with amazing women? Absolutely. Kevin Hart. Yeah, but he had 150 million followers on Instagram. Well, he had women way before he ever was famous. Why? Because of his personality. Now, you don't have to become a comedian. You don't have to be particularly funny, but you do have to learn impeccable communication skills. It's one of the most important things, probably the most important things that I help my clients with, improving their communication skills, because you can talk away your lack of height. Are there some women who will never date you because of your height? Of course. Most women simply don't care. Most women are agnostic. Yes, they'd say, I only want a man who's this high. Yeah, him. Doesn't matter. Irrelevant. First of all, you can find some who are just as tall as you, or simply shorter, or you can simply communicate in a way that is so emotionally captivating that she'll be blown away, and all of a sudden she won't care, because she's met plenty of men who are tall and boring as f***. That's that point. I'm just not good looking enough. Are there men out there who are ugly, just objectively not attractive, and still have amazing girlfriends and life partners? Of course. Now, why is that possible? Communication skills, confidence, and they understand the dynamics. You have to dedicate yourself to study the dynamics of attraction, and some of that simply isn't politically correct. I absolutely believe in kindness. I absolutely believe in having a relationship on eye level. You want to respect her. But eye level does not mean putting her on a pedestal. Here we go. Woo! Having a relationship on eye level is absolutely beautiful, and it's the only sustainable way to have a relationship. Respect and kindness. But there are still certain dynamics when it comes to the realm of attraction that are not politically correct that you'll have to study. If you want to learn more about that, apply for a free initial consultation call. So, we got time, we got looks, we got height, or the algorithm is skewed against us, men. Is it really? Why are there men who are getting fantastic results from dating apps? Why is it that more than half of my clients find their girlfriends, life partners, and wives from dating apps? Why is it that I have clients who are getting 1, 2, 3, 4, sometimes more dates a week from dating apps alone, or from Instagram alone? Because if you figure out the tool, you'll be able to make it work. A hammer is a fantastic tool if you know how to use it. A knife is a fantastic tool if you know how to use it. I can't do much good with a knife, let me tell you that. I don't know how to cook. I don't know how to cut my herbs. My father, very much into cooking, he can create magnificent things with a knife and other kitchen utilities. For me, they're completely useless. The tool works if you make it work. A basketball is a fantastic tool if you're Michael Jordan. For me, a basketball is just a round thing that I wouldn't know what to do with. A basketball is a tool that some people, like Michael Jordan, can make what, $1 billion with, hundreds of millions of dollars with. I can't do with it because I don't know how to use the tool. But just because I can't turn a basketball into money doesn't mean the basketball is inherently useless. I just haven't learned how to make it work. These tools work. You just have to dedicate yourself to making them work. So it's not that the algorithm is skewed against you. Yeah, absolutely. Certain dating apps are obviously going to outperform others, but you have to learn how to present yourself in attractive ways on these dating apps. You have to build your status in her eyes, never by lying, never by posing in front of somebody's car. That's disingenuous, that's just fake. But by showing the attractive qualities of yourself as a man. Because she won't be able to guess, she's not Sherlock Holmes. There's so much competition on these dating apps that you have to learn to stand out. Now, the competition doesn't mean they don't work. You just have to learn to stand out. And if you tell her in your profile description that you like to travel or that you like hiking, that's boring and that's simply generic. If you have selfies, that's generic. If the angles that you have don't portray yourself in the most attractive way, that's just not going to help you stand out. If your choice of clothing isn't tailored to make you look as good as you possibly can in your own authentic way, you will not stand out. But that doesn't mean that the tool doesn't work. So, dating apps work. Also, Instagram. If you can dedicate yourself to figuring out how to DM in a respectful and effective way. If you send DMs in a proper way, you can get at least 1 to 2 great dates a month from Instagram DMs. Instagram is a fantastic tool. We've discussed that at length in a different video. On my YouTube channel, you have a different video purely about Instagram, discussing why Instagram is so powerful, so I don't want to go into too much detail. You can just check out that video that we have on the channel. What's the next one? What was the last one I was saying? This one, oh yeah, there's no places to meet women. I wouldn't know where to meet them. Or there's no good women left. Where can you meet them? In a park? Well, right now there was a bit of a thunderstorm earlier, as you may have heard at the beginning of the video. That's why we're walking around with these. But normally, there'd be plenty of people in a park. You can introduce yourself. Women go to bars. Now, you don't have to go to bars or clubs at all, not necessary. But you can go to a shopping mall. You can go to a supermarket. If you really wanted to see them, you could. If you really wanted to spot opportunities to start an interaction, to create a spark, careful, it's a cyclist. If you really wanted that, you could. But your selective focus doesn't even allow you to perceive these opportunities, because then you would have to confront yourself with your own approach anxiety that you haven't overcome yet. But that approach anxiety that you're feeling, this invisible wall, oh, she looks so serious, she has headphones in, I wouldn't want to interrupt her, I wouldn't want to bother her, she probably has a boyfriend, all that nonsense can be overcome. You can progressively desensitize yourself against that approach anxiety, step by step, with the right mindset, knowing exactly how to do it. And you can learn to do that in a respectful way. It's absolutely important that you do it respectfully, and that if a woman is ever uncomfortable, you create space and you leave her the alone instantaneously, of course, but it's your responsibility to make the offer. It is absolutely your responsibility as a man to make the offer. You also have to understand that back in the day, your grandparents, your grandfather had it so much easier to find someone. People like to say, oh well, yeah, back in the day, men were real men. Yes, on the one hand, that's absolutely true. But on the other hand, they also had it a lot easier because social media didn't exist. The globalization of the dating marketplace wasn't a thing. If you lived in a town of 50,000 or 100,000 people, 50,000 probably back in the day, well, it's a couple of dogs right there. I want to get eaten today. I love dogs, but I like them on a leash. Yeah, let's go this way. I love dogs, by the way. But if you're a dog owner, keep your dog on a leash. Back in the day, if you lived in a town of 50,000 people, and there were attractive ladies. These women weren't really aware of how valuable they were purely because of their looks. Now, obviously, women aren't just valuable purely because of their looks. That's nonsense. It's way more about their inner value, their personality, but part of their dating market value, not the value of their soul, not their worth as a person, but their value in the marketplace, in the dating marketplace, partially comes down to their looks. And back in the day, they simply weren't aware of how desired they actually were. Nowadays, she turns on Instagram or a dating app and she has 2,000 likes. Ho ho! She goes traveling. I was actually with clients this whole weekend because we're doing a boot camp, a live event, helping clients meet women in person, working on very technical details. And it was a fantastic weekend. Both of those clients, we can actually go, light is better, yeah, this way. Both of those clients on Friday night got 8 phone numbers, or rather Instagrams, like from, or an Instagram from 8 different women. Both of them. It was absolutely mind-blowing. And then another 6 or 7 the following night, and then the Sunday was a rather successful night that was spent in the company with one of the clients. And one of the things that I was talking about was he was supposed to meet a different lady on Sunday than the one he actually ended up with, but he ignored a couple of pieces of advice and a couple of technical details. That's fine, that's for the clients. Apply for a free initial consultation call, and then we can talk about the details of that situation. So he basically, he didn't navigate the dynamics of the situation properly. Let's leave it at that for now. And then they were supposed to meet the next day. And he said, David, well, we already have a date planned for the next day, concert tickets. I said, if you don't meet her right now, she's traveling by herself. The probability you're going to meet her tomorrow is really, really low. No, we have a date planned. She said she wants to meet me tomorrow. Now, obviously they didn't end up meeting. As I predicted, he looked at me and says, how did you know? Well, because I myself have been rejected more times than you ever jerked off. I've gotten years and years and years of experience, personal experience, coaching clients from all around the world, from 30 countries. I know exactly what happens in that situation. Did she lie? No. She simply expressed her own emotional reality in that moment. In the moment when she decided to make plans, she absolutely felt like meeting up with him. She felt emotionally inclined to meet him. But the next day, when the emotion subsided, and actually, they began to subside that evening because he was making a couple of mistakes. He was doing a lot of things very well. They kissed and everything, but he still made mistakes that she began to lose interest, and the next day she didn't emotionally remember him that well. Emotions fade, especially if she's traveling by herself, and especially coming full circle if she opens up her Tinder and she has 30 men right there who want to meet up with her. If she opens up her Tinder and she has 30 men right then and there who want to meet up with her, the probability she wants to meet him, who she met the night before, is rather low, because even if he may have the most amazing communication skills, purely on the dating apps, she can pick the most amazing looking guy who might even have, or probably has, a personality vacuum in that sense, which I've seen over and over again. Very attractive, very great looking men who can't handle women for shit because they've never had to learn it the hard way. They got the initial attraction easily, but then women kept losing interest in them. They got pussy whipped and pegged in the relationship. But in that immediate comparison, most likely he'll lose, especially if she's traveling by herself and she's a little bit more in that adventurous mode. Now, obviously, this is a bit of a unique situation. Most of the time, let's say you live in a city, you want to find somebody for the long term. You want to find a meaningful, serious relationship, which is what all of my clients want, by the way. None of them, I say none of them, I mean maybe like 1 or 2% simply want to improve their dating life. But I would say 98% of them come to me because they want to find a meaningful, serious, long-term relationship. And of course, we achieve that. But you still have to understand that you have to compete and you have to learn to stand out and present yourself. So you can absolutely meet women in a park like this. You can meet them in a shopping mall, but you have to allow yourself to dedicate yourself to the process, and you have to want to see the opportunities. Because if I were to ask you, if I were to ask you right now, what can you notice that's brown? Pay attention to everything that you see that's brown. Look around, what can you see that's brown, 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 okay? How many things did you notice that were yellow? Very few, huh? Now, if I were to ask you, look around, look at blue, blue. See if you can find some blue. Is there anything that's blue? Blue, blue, blue. Okay. Maybe you start noticing a couple of things that weren't even necessarily blue, that you labeled as blue because you put your intention on. That's called your selective focus. Your mind only ever groups things into opportunities or threats. Any impulse in life, any stimuli is only ever grouped as an opportunity or a threat. And you start, this way please, you start noticing things based on either the utility they could possibly provide or on the potential damage it might cause. And your brain, if left to its own devices, sorry, left to its own devices, I believe, will most likely more often focus on the negative, because an opportunity can only be so good while a threat can be ultimately bad, which means death. So you will have to take conscious control of your patterns of focus, as Gunther Schmidt calls it. So allow yourself to start noticing these opportunities. Stop making these excuses and simply apply for a free initial consultation call with the link underneath this video if you want my help. Let's wait here for 1 second. Because you deserve an amazing dating and relationship life for a short period of time to then choose an amazing woman. If you want to find the right girlfriend, life partner, or wife, she's available. These women are absolutely, very good idea, thank you. These women are absolutely out there for you. They exist. Or rather, this woman. There's a woman right now who'd love to be with you, but she's not actively hiding from you. You have to assume the burden of proactivity. It is your responsibility as a man to make her the offer. But in life, you can only ever have your excuses or results. You haven't gotten the success in your career or your business that you currently have by making excuses, have you? The results in your health, your fitness, or other areas. You haven't gotten those by making excuses. You made a conscious effort to rid yourself of excuses because you realize, well, they were just misguided thoughts. And you have to understand, self-sabotage is simply misguided self-love. Whenever you have these limiting beliefs, all you're trying to do is you're really trying to protect yourself. You got hurt in the past. And trust me, I've seen a lot, right? I've had clients cry on my shoulder. I have had clients in all kinds of very emotional and vulnerable situations because, for example, if you were married before, or if you've just been single for a long time, let's say maybe you haven't even had any successful date in several years, or maybe you have, but you just keep losing the ones you're actually interested in. Yeah, stay there for a second. Then that can be hurtful. We all carry a degree of hurt. Yeah, stay right there for a second. We all carry a degree of hurt. And understand that it's okay to acknowledge it. And you notice it, and you let it arise in the space of loving awareness. But don't let the fear of pain rob you from the ultimate joys you'll be able to experience in life. Because science is absolutely clear. The number one source for happiness in life comes from relationships. And some people become cynical. I saw a TikTok today, scrolling on TikTok for a couple of minutes, because doing a little bit of research, feeding my addiction, I allow myself maybe 5 to 10 minutes a day on average on TikTok, because we have over 600,000 followers on TikTok, so I want to do a little bit of research on how to post those. Can you see how I'm justifying my social media addiction to you? So I'm on TikTok and I'm watching a video by Matthew McConaughey, the actor. And I believe he was talking to Lex Friedman, who's a genius as well. And Lex is asking him, have you ever been hurt? And then Matthew says, yeah, of course I've been hurt. And then Lex said, well, did that stop you from trusting people? Did that make you more reluctant to trust people? And he said, absolutely no. Cynicism is a disease that oftentimes sets in when you become older. Because people realize that there are bad people in the world. There are bad men in the world. There are bad women in the world. But most people are absolutely beautiful. And don't let these don't let these temporary, painful situations stop you from putting yourself out there. Rejection, yeah, who gives a shit? With the right mindset, you can overcome that, no problem. You can get coaches, mentors. You should build a strong support network of high-quality men around you. If you fear rejection, it's only because you haven't gotten rejected enough. You only fear what you haven't been exposed to enough. So expose yourself more to rejection and realize it absolutely means nothing. This woman, you didn't even know her up until a couple of minutes ago, an hour ago, a couple of days ago. And all of a sudden, your entire self-worth, happiness, and your life's purpose depends on her? No. Don't let these temporarily painful moments stop you from experiencing love's ultimate joys. Apply for a free initial consultation call. Looking forward to speaking with you soon. Take care.